Good morning, good morning. This is Whiskers. Welcome back to the channel. I know we talked a little bit about what to expect when you got on your training truck, but here's a few more tips. We touched on pre-trips. We touched on not rushing, proper sleep, knowing your weather, not trusting GPS. But let's talk a little bit about getting out and looking. When you're with your trainer, you're going to have a spotter. He's going to be there to ensure that you don't hit anything. So some of this will apply to your first year when you're by yourself. Goal, get out and look. Especially once you're on your own. When you have a spot that you know you're going back into, eyeball it first. If you're not sure about it, get out of your truck, leave your four-way zone, walk the spot that you're fixing to back into. Look on the ground. You don't know what you can run over. It would suck to back into a dock to get unloaded and leave with a flat. So, that said, check your overhead clearance. You don't know if there's any wires or anything hanging down, any previous damage that somebody else done that you can back into or touch and be blamed for. So eyeball your spot. Do a proper setup on backing into the spot. It's not going to be the same every single time you do it. Every single place is different. And depending on how you come in, you can back into the same spot, but do it different each time. So get out and look, eyeball the area, look at your surroundings, get out and check your clearance. Once your trailer starts going in the hole, watch your trailer tires, watch the rear end of your trailer, watch where it's tracking. Pretty much where your tires are going to go is where that trailer is going to go. But depending on where you've got them set, if they're set all the way forward, then you're going to have a significant trailer tail swing. So your tires might be going into the hole, but that corner of the trailer that you don't see is fixing to take a hood off of another truck. You don't want to do that. So when you get close to your spot, get out, look, check your blind side clearance, make sure you're not going to hit anything. And if you can drop it in there with a couple of pull-ups or straight shot it in, great. If it takes you 100 times to put it in a spot, but you don't hit anything, also great. Don't let anybody ever intimidate you on hurrying up and getting out of their way and getting into a spot. Because when you rush, especially backing, that's when you're going to screw up. So take your time, do as many pull-ups as you need. It does not mean that you suck at backing. Like I say, 23 years, there's days I can put it in the hole first shot. There's days it takes me 6 or 7 pull-ups. There's times that it just ain't going to work, and I pull out, come all the way back around, and set up for the backing again, and try it again. So don't ever be intimidated. Don't let anybody ever intimidate you. Still kind of have your CB on. Don't pay attention to the bullshit. When you're backing and when you're new. We can tell. We've been there. So when you're backing into a spot, take your time, know your surroundings, and just go slow. Because the ultimate goal is getting in that dock, getting your product unloaded, and not hitting anything. So that's pretty much all I got to say about getting out and looking. So we'll catch you here in just a second on the next point. Alright, another thing to take your time with, turns. Go slow. Don't whip it around the corner, somebody can sneak in your blind spot on the right side of your truck, and you don't know they're there until you hit them. They're gonna do that. So make your proper turns, but always expect somebody to be in your way because they're in a hurry. So watch your mirrors. Leave your window cracked a little bit. That way, in case somebody beeps their horn at you, you don't slam on brakes because you're already moving slow, and you can stop before there's an incident. So just do everything calculated, slow, don't get in a hurry. I know everything's just go, 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 time sensitive, but at the end of the day, slow and steady pace. Don't get in a hurry. That's when accidents happen. And then once you're out there, watch your following distance. Good general rule of thumb, I don't know all the numbers on it because it's been forever since I went through the training, but always try to keep at least a minimum of a tractor trailer length between me and the vehicle in front of me. That's not always going to be the case when you get into heavy traffic, but if you can't see their tires touch the pavement in front of you, even in heavy traffic, you're too close. And especially heavy traffic, watch for your merge. Watch, like when you pass exit ramps, get on ramps. Check the traffic coming down that ramp. They're either going to speed up and get on the interstate the right way, or they're going to slow down and get in your way. And then they're going to decide to go and jump in front of you. So, or they're going to hit the shoulder and then they're going to get aggravated and then they're going to cut you off. So just be aware of oncoming traffic. No, it's not our job to let them in, but we have to give a little bit on extra courtesy because we are the professionals. Don't let it bother you. It's going to happen on a daily. So watch for oncoming traffic, monitor your following distance, monitor your mirrors all the time. And there's people who's going to ride that bumper right on top of it, big trucks included. Especially if you're out there running slow, doing what you're supposed to be doing. And there's some truck drivers out there that's just not going to be good with that. They're going to be in a hurry and they're going to try to shove you down the road. Sorry about that. Don't let them intimidate you either. You're in charge of your truck. You know what needs to be done safely. So you do it your way. Let everybody else do the dumb shit if they want to. Just keep enough distance to where you're not involved in their dumb actions, as I see it every day. Get in the habit of reading road signs. I mean, billboards. We pay attention to those. Read every road sign. That way you know what's coming. You know if there's construction 2 miles down the road. You know if there's a lane closed. Don't wait until you get to the end of it. Go ahead and get over while people's not bottlenecking you in. That way you ain't got to deal with it when you get up there. Watch for bridge height signs, weight signs. 2,000 pounds is 1 ton. If you need that conversion, like when you're looking for weight restricted bridges. But yeah, look at every road sign you can. Pay attention. Because there might be a small one that says no trucks and you miss it, and guess what? You got upwards of a $2,000 fine in some places. Or you run across a low clearance and then you're sitting there stuck waiting for law enforcement to come help you get out of there. get you turned around. But that said, don't ever let your pride get in the way to where you do not call and ask for help. They would rather you call and ask for help than you hit a bridge or cause damage. Your CDL will appreciate that, the company will appreciate that, and the insurance company will appreciate that. So you don't need any unnecessary items marked against you when all of it can be avoided. And we did touch on the GPS in the last video. Don't trust it 100%. That's why I say use your atlas. Know where you're going. Plan your trip. If it's somewhere you've never been, research that route. Research it in the atlas. Still use your GPS, but don't take it for 100%. It is technology. It can glitch. It can put you on a restricted route, especially depending on what you got it set on. So even if you went that route 100 times, there's going to be something different. Always is. New construction zone, new traffic light, stuff like that. And as far as traffic lights go, if you see them green and you've been heading towards it for a minute and it's still green, expect that thing to change before you get there. So ease out of it. Be prepared to stop before you get there. That way you're not running red lights, because a lot of these little towns got those cameras and stuff. You don't want to take it, but the big part is you don't want to hit nothing, or you don't want nobody to hit you either. So anticipate having to stop when you see a green light further down the road and it's been green for a while, because it's probably fixing to turn red before you get there. Practice defensive driving. Never offensive driving. Don't let other people's actions get in your head and influence your actions behind the wheel of 80,000 pounds. It's easy to do. So keep a cool head. Practice defensive driving. Know what's behind you. Know what's on each side of you. Utilize any extra technology that's in the trucks. Especially like for blind spots, outward facing cameras, stuff like that. Tools that'll help you. Pay attention to the cars. Not just the car itself, the passengers. When they go by, you can see what they're doing. You can see if they're on their cell phone. Most of them are. You can see if they're fumbling around with something, not paying attention, seats laid all the way back, trying to get something out of the back seat. If they got kids in the car, expect them to have to get onto the kids or turn around and deal with the kids while they're driving. So, and then watch their head. If you see them looking off a lot, right, left, back seat, floorboard, they're not looking where they're going, which means they probably don't see you. As big as you are and as crazy as that is, they're oblivious to us out here and they don't care. So watch what they're doing, but pay attention to what you're doing. So if you see somebody looking in the floor down in the front floorboard, they're probably thinking about getting something while they're driving. So they reach over to get that as they're passing you. They're liable to come in and smack the side of your truck. So be prepared to get out of their way if possible. Animals. We all love animals. We don't want to hit any animals. Most of us don't anyway. Some of them are like, yeah, I'll run it over. But not me. But when it comes to wildlife, you know, I mean, don't wreck your truck over a squirrel, but when it comes to wildlife, deer, it's actually safer to just nail that thing. deal with getting your truck fixed than to swerve to go around it. Because depending on your center of gravity, you've already got a high one anyway, and depending on what's in that trailer and how it's loaded, you swerve to go around that deer. Guess what? You're in the ditch, laying on your side, over a deer. When you could have just smacked the shit out of it, replaced a headlight or two, maybe a grill or a hood, and you're on your way in a couple of days. Truck laying on its side, you're not going nowhere for a while, if you keep your job. So, sorry Bambi, don't step out in front of me. You won't make it. Sorry about in between these videos, I'm drinking coffee. The other defensive driving. The most dangerous place to drive a truck. It's going to be in a parking lot, at a truck stop, at a shipper, a receiver, especially truck stops. They act like it's a NASCAR track. Everybody's in a hurry. We get in here, we get complacent. We don't pay attention like we should. And like your mom and daddy said, look both ways before you cross the road. Do that in a truck stop for sure. Because I don't know what it is. It's just some truck drivers get into a truck stop and they just quit paying attention. So, and backing and driving and maneuvering around a truck stop, trucks could be parked any kind of way, not in a proper space, making spots. So just be aware of your surroundings, especially at night, especially when you're driving around and you're looking for a place to park and you have to cut through trucks that's made spots. Watch your trailer. They're parked where they shouldn't be, but you still don't want to hit them. Don't drag your trailer across another truck. It's just too much paperwork. Shippers and receivers. Most of them are decent about their speed limits. Well, they're speed limits for us. Speed limits for the yard trucks. Not saying no names. Walmart. Flying around. Hauling tail. Dragging empty trailers in and out of doors. I mean, they got the right of way, but I don't think 25, 30 miles an hour in a parking lot is what they should be doing at some places. So yeah, just be aware of that. We touched on proper trip planning in the last one. I'll do a whole video on that one separate because I can't get all the details in here. As far as truck stops go, this is part of your trip planning. Research where you're going to park. There's all kinds of apps, Trucker Path. Most of the, like the TA app, you can pull it up. It's not always accurate, but it'll tell you how many parking spots it's got left open. So research that in advance of where you're going to park. That way you know if you need to stop early, or you can make it to a truck stop where you've got a reserved spot at. So do your research on truck parking. And don't do your 30 in the fuel island. That aggravates everybody. Don't be that guy. You know, you got somebody in the fuel island and you're parked behind them. Sit there in your truck. Start your 30 there. And by the time you get through the fuel island, your 30's done. You're not sitting there blocking the pump. But while you're sitting waiting, and there's another truck at the pump in front of you, don't get out of your truck. Because you'll get out of your truck, go in and do something. It'll take forever to get your food, use the bathroom and everything else. And then you come back out, that truck's already gone. You're sitting there in the middle of the parking lot, looking like a dumbass. So it's just best to wait until you can pull up to the pump, handle your business at the pump, pull away from the pump, By then, you should only have like 8-10 minutes left. That's about an adequate time to go in and get something done normally, and get your stuff done and get out of the way. I mean, we all have somewhere to go, and we all want to have a good day. It don't take much to get us aggravated out here, because the traffic, the shippers, the receivers, sometimes the company, keeps us a little bit miffed. So the longer you're out here, the better you'll be at managing your emotional state when it comes to the aggravations of the job. So yeah, just don't add to it by trying to do your 30 in the fuel island. Respect the facilities. Even in truck stops, you will eventually, especially if you're new, you haven't experienced it yet, but you're going to go in some truck stops and the bathrooms are just going to be horrendous. Junk everywhere, toilet paper everywhere, trashy. Most truck stops are good about staying on top of it, but some of them are not. But it's drivers that's doing that. And then we want to bitch to when we don't have access to facilities at shippers and receivers, because some drivers do that. So respect the facilities. It'll help us all out. Don't be that guy. Don't just make a mess and leave it there because they're paying somebody to do the job, to come in and clean up after you. So just respect it, especially the shipper and receiver. That's your bread and butter. That's your load. That's what, you're there to pick up and deliver to. And the few that still let us use the bathroom, the drivers keep continuing to trash it, they'll take that privilege away from us. A lot of them have already. So that's one thing it's kind of lacking as of late over the past decade or so, is respect out here. Respect for customers, respect for each other. Sadly, it's just different. It used to be a whole lot different. It's never perfect. It never was perfect, but just try to have common courtesy and respect for one another, for where you're at, for who you're dealing with, your customers, the truck stops, and whatnot. This is a sedentary lifestyle. Sitting on your butt. Don't just constantly sit on your butt. When the weather's decent, take a walk. Get some sort of exercise. Don't always try to get you a parking spot at the front door and stuff. It's great when that happens, but at least 2 or 3 times a week, try to park to where you have to walk. That will help you out in the long run. Especially once you're out here for several years, you're gonna put on a few pounds unless you put some effort into staying active. Because sitting behind this wheel 10, 11 hours a day, not moving, your joints and your knees and your back. I mean, I still got a stick in the floor. I don't have an automatic. The wear and tear on the body. So a body in motion stays in motion. So get out and walk. Don't always go for the front parking spot. And, when you do your 30-minute break, try to do it in the rest area. They usually have walking paths or a nice place where you can, just walk around the facility. Get some sort of exercise in. And when you're parked, lock your doors. Try to park where there's light. That's not always going to be the case. So be aware of your surroundings, especially in truck stops. When you get out, before you get out, check the area. See what it looks like. See if it looks sketchy. And if it does, be aware of that. Look over your shoulder, you know. I'm not trying to do doom and gloom that, you know, there's a whole bunch of shit out here, but there is in some places, so you gotta, that's back with trip planning. Know where you're gonna park at. Know the truck stop. But, you know, always lock your truck. If you have an air cuff lock, throw that on. I don't know. Hang on a minute. I don't know how many people that's new that knows what it is. That goes on your airlines, your knobs for your tractor and your trailer. You just slide it on there, press the button, it locks it. It's not 100% foolproof. If they want it off, they can get it off, but it'll take a while. Locks only keep honest people honest. With that said, lock your trailer, you know, all the time, empty or not, especially if you're hauling food. Who's to say some dumbass ain't gonna open your door and just throw something in there, throw a bag of, well, there ain't no other way to say it, a bag of shit, whatever. There's rivals between companies. A lot of people don't like Prime, a lot of people don't like Swift, a lot of people don't like whoever. So somebody's liable to just shit in a Walmart bag and throw it in your trailer. Guess what? Your trailer's contaminated. Then you got to go wash it before you can get a load, especially if you're hauling food products in a reefer. So, or anything, you know, they can throw something in there. They can get in there and try to sleep, depending on where you're at. So always keep everything locked. Some drivers wrap the seatbelt around the door handle, the door pull, and latch it to their seats when they go to sleep at night. You know, keep somebody from breaking into the truck. In certain areas, that's not a bad idea, but for the most part, try not to park in those certain areas. That way you really don't have to use that method, because if something goes wrong and then you got to hurry up and get out of your truck for some reason, then you got all that to undo before you can get out, you know, because shit does happen. So with that said, I will leave this here with the final thought: common courtesy. Treat everybody like you want to be treated. You know, just try to be nice. Even when the shipper and receiver is having a bad day and they're mouthy or they got an attitude or a tone, don't go down to their level. Don't let them bring you down to that level. Don't let them alter your mindset for the day. Kill them with kindness. It does work. I've had a shipper or receiver in a pissy ass mood, and I'm professional. I'm calm. I still treat them with respect where I'm being respected or not. That is hard to do. I'm not gonna lie. But usually by the tail end of that conversation, their mood's lightened up a little bit. They're not as harsh or as in a bad mood. So, you know, just common courtesy. It's contagious. So with that said, this is Whiskers, and I am back out, and I'll catch you on the next tips. Thank y'all for watching.